Good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I'm Vinay Motiwala with me, Cheryl D'Souza. Cheryl, good afternoon to you as well. And markets, yes, recovered from the day's lowest point, but again we saw a bit of a fall. Not much of an excitement, right? Because we're seeing a bit of a red coming in, at least for the benchmark indices.
Absolutely. A very good afternoon to you, Vinay. And the recovery that we've made has not been that much of a solid recovery, but we are holding on to the negative territory. When you talk about the benchmark indices, we have Nifty Bank that's still under pressure. A lot of banks coming out with their Q1 operational performance, but it is HDFC banks whose Q1 operational performance has definitely had an impact on Nifty Bank in today's trading session. 1% down coming in for Nifty Bank, HDFC Bank down 4.5% or so. And broader markets, however, are outperforming the benchmark indices as well as the Nifty Bank in today's trading session, holding on near the day's highest point. So that's the way how the markets are looking like. Benchmarks are weak while the broader markets are actually gaining in trade.
Absolutely, but on that note, let's get started with all the stocks that have been buzzing in trade on the back of news flows and technicals. And on the technicals, we have Vinay Rajani joining in with us. While from the research team today, we have Gaurav joining in. So very good afternoon to both of you all as well. And I'll start with the first stock that we're going to talk about today. We have Iigo, which reported its Q4 numbers, is what we are talking about. It's Q4 FY24 numbers that they reported. They were a recently listed company. So yes, when you're looking at it in terms of the numbers of the company, revenue saw a growth of around 20%. EBITDA also saw an improvement and came in an increase with an increase of around 17.6%. Profits, 7 crores versus 5 crores is what one is seeing, and EBITDA margins at 9.5% versus 9.7%, so remained at those levels. What's exciting also is in terms of the GTV, that is also seen, that's the gross transaction value, that's crossed 10,000 crores for FY24, which is up around 38%, so keeping an eye out on that. It's the Q4 profit number that we're talking about. Q4 FY24 is the numbers that they reported. Other than that, we also managed to speak to the management of the company. They're talking about how they want to focus in terms of market share of other than train side. They want to focus on bus as well as flights as well. What is the trajectory that they have in mind? What is the market share that they are eyeing? Let's go cross and listen in.
We want to take market share in categories like flights and buses, where our potential still remains of taking more market share. On trains, being the market leader, we want to just maintain faster than the overall capacity growth. So we want to grow at the low to mid-teens level, as we said. We want to sacrifice a little bit on the contribution margin percentage we are seeing on flight and bus, which is pretty healthy today, but we are okay letting go some of that in pursuit of faster growth over the next few quarters. And I think that's because there is scope to grow on our market share. Bus is an underpenetrated category. There's less than 20% bookings happening online. I think there is a clear chance to go and get more first-time bookers from people who are booking offline. And flight, again, we are not one of the top 3 OTAs there. I mean, we are in the top 5, but we think that we can continue growing faster with this kind of momentum. The problem I foresee is that the overall market on flights isn't growing that fast because capacity is not being added enough. We heard from Iigo that they're adding 1 plane a week. But given the demand trends we are seeing, that may not be enough. So I think muted growth for another quarter or two on the overall market will dampen everyone's growth a bit, although we will grow faster than the overall OTA market there.
All right, so that's the management of Iigo talking to us post their Q4 earnings. But Vinay is here. And Vinay, ONGC, how are the charts looking for this one? Definitely seeing a good surge today.
Yeah, good afternoon and thanks for having me on the show. So ONGC has given a clear-cut breakout today. There was a consolidation for last 5 months, and now it is breaking out from that consolidation. The resistance which was there is around 285. It is sustaining about that, and crude prices has also been rising. So it is into favor, and overall the PSU segment looks good, very strong. So overall PSU sentiment as well as the rising crude prices as well as the technical breakout on the chart. So it's a 5-month consolidation breakout, and it looks like that this rally should continue to be on the upside, and it should do well in the coming days. So support I see for the traders is around 279. Positional support is at 263, which happens to be the previous swing low. So 263 is a strong base for the ONGC, and I'm expecting this stock to hit an all-time high, which was 293, and go beyond that. So in this kind of stock where we are getting a breakout from the long consolidation and stock is about to hit a new high, all-time high, it's better to keep it with a trailing stop loss. So right now, the trailing stop loss for the trader should be 263, and as and when you see stock rising from here, you should keep on trailing the stop losses. So it is a clear-cut breakout on the medium to long-term chart.
All right, so that's the take coming in on ONGC. Let's talk about CG Power because that particular counter has hit a fresh record high level on an intraday basis. Last time I checked, CG Power was trading higher by 4%. Now it's trading higher about 6.4% or so. So yes, fresh record high levels coming in for that particular counter. They've entered into a deal with Skybound Realty for the development of new buildings on the company's property in Mumbai. So post that particular development, you've seen the surge take place in CG Power on an intraday basis today, Vinny.
Absolutely, surely we are keeping an eye out on that, and let's not forget we do have Bajaj Auto's unveiling that's happening of their CNG bike as well, which we are keeping an eye out on. We will shortly get out some more visuals, but Vinay, taking it to you, Reliance is the stock that you've picked out for us. Next on the technicals at 3,144 currently. What's the chart indicating?
June stock did very well and hit an all-time high. The all-time high was registered at 3162, and after that we have seen a 4-5 days of running correction, and today again it has resumed the uptrend. So basically today's stock is up by 1%. It is on the verge of hitting a new all-time high above 3162. So it is one of the large cap which has actually broken out after a long consolidation. Looks very convincing. For 3-4 months stock was not crossing 3025, and now it is sustaining above that level. So it's one of the large cap stock which is likely to do well in the coming days. So definitely the way it goes, the way momentum is building in, the way it consolidated in last 4-5 sessions, today it has resumed the trend. So it is likely to support the Nifty from here on, and I think it is going to lead the large cap space from here, and one can continue to hold on the long position. I would suggest a stop loss for the traders around 3030. That is a strong support. So keeping that stop loss in mind, traders can continue to hold on to the long position. And as I said, for the previous stock like ONGC, Reliance is also one stock in which traders can hold the long position with the trailing stop loss. So 3030 is a very strong base, and I think in the coming days it is likely to do well.
All right, that is Reliance Industries for you, from one heavyweight to another heavyweight. Gaurav, HDFC Bank, and what a heavyweight, putting pressure on Nifty as well as Nifty Bank in trade today. What exactly is not enthusing the street when you talk about the Q1 operational performance?
Well, yes. When we talk about the numbers from HDFC Bank, those were actually below the street's expectation. So talking about deposits, that actually saw a muted growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis. In fact, when we talk about in deposits, CASA saw a degrowth of around 5% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. And even from CASA, if we talk about current account specifically, that shown a degrowth of around 14% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Now coming to advances, there also we saw some downtick coming up. That declined almost by 1% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. And even in advances, we saw corporate loans going down almost by 5% on a sequential basis. Now coming to some observations made by brokerages, they believe that the company has come up with the average deposit growth of around 4.6% as they reported. But what brokerages believe is that this number is actually misleading, or rather we could say not relevant, because the Q4 numbers were actually at a high base, and that is why we are seeing this 4.6% growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Lastly, they also believe that on pro forma basis, if we talk about deposits and advances growth, deposits would have grown almost by 15.3% on a YY basis, while advances would have grown almost by 10%, which is again lower than the street's expectation. Although we have not seen any kind of cuts coming up, but it seems that there was optimism built up around the stock for the last few days, and given that the numbers have come out weak, we are seeing this stock going down almost 4.5% as we speak.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on HDFC Bank, but yes, we have some lines that are coming in from the event at Bajaj Auto as well. Big day for Bajaj Auto, the CNG bike launch that is happening, the world's first that we're going to be seeing in that format. So keeping an eye out on that. But moving on, and emphasis, Vinay, from the IT pack is what you've picked out for us. What are the charts indicating for emphasis? Last 6 months, quite a subduedness is what we're seeing. Now, what is the view on emphasis?
So there is a nice reversal in the IT index. In last 2 weeks, we have seen that large cap IT stocks started performing well. And still, if you were to look at the index, the Nifty IT index is still 6% lower than the all-time high, which was registered previously in 2021, I suppose. So this is the stock which has also seen a reversal, bullish reversal pattern is there. If we were to go by the theory, the technical theory says it's a bullish inverted head and shoulder breakout on the weekly chart. So the chart is quite convincing. It is a reversal sign, and I think this is headed for the target of 2837. Which happens to be the previous swing high, which was made in February 2024. So 200 rupees more upside could be there because the stock is looking very strong. The sector has been doing quite well, and we have entered into the result phase, and many large caps IT company will post their quarterly results. So the underperformance which we have seen till now in the IT as well as the stock like Emphasis, I think that. The stock like Emphasis can recoup all the losses. So I see a good extension of their rally, and one can continue to hold on the long position. The support I see is around 2500. So keeping that support and stop loss in mind as a trader, you can continue to hold on the long position, and the immediate resistance and target we can say is at around 2835, 2837. So looking quite good on the charts.
Let's move on then, and let's talk about Bajaj Auto then. Let's hear out what Rajiv Bajaj has to say on that big CNG bike launch.
Now, at first, obviously, I thought to myself, what does this have to do with me? This has to do with all these guys who didn't do their job and put up the fuel pumps that they were supposed to put up. But I learned one of my many lessons that I have learned at Bajaj Auto then, invaluable over time. And that is this, that the customer does not draw any boundary lines as far as your responsibility and accountability is concerned. The customer expects the manufacturer to ensure a holistic brand experience with the product. And especially if it is new technology like electric vehicles, or as we will see today, the world's first CNG motorcycle, then the customer is effectively telling us, your job doesn't end with just sales and service of the product. You are responsible for the entire ecosystem, for the totality of my ownership experience. And I thought this was important to mention today, since we are all present here, we are venturing into this new uncharted waters, where it is not enough for us to just make a good product and deliver it, but everything else that goes with it, in terms of its safety, in terms of its convenience, in terms of even educating the customer how best to take advantage of the product. It is our responsibility to ensure that this happens. So I am very pleased that our esteemed guests from the oil marketing and distribution companies are also here. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. Thank you very much. And I would like to believe that I speak on behalf of Nitinji, of ourselves, on behalf of all of you, when I say to customers who may be listening in right now, that we all assure you we are with you through the life cycle of this product, through all the use cases of this product, through all the allied considerations of this product.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. Let's keep it going with all the stocks that have been buzzing in trade. And moving on to the next one, we have Ircon International. That is buzzing away in trade. At one point of time, it surged as much as 3%. Okay, from 3%, sorry. I checked it at the start of the day, but clearly picked up momentum up as much as 12% right now. The day's highest point is what Ircon International is trading at. And why is that so? They have won a 750 crore order from RVNL. And this is a JV of theirs, that is Paras Rail Tech Private Limited and Stresscon Overseas Ventures. This JV of Ircon International has won the 750 crore order from RBNL. Clearly a sharp buzz coming in on this one. The project is mainly for design, supply, installation, testing and commissioning of a broad gauge baseless track, and this is on the back of this order. A good up move that we've seen, and the stock has gained as much as when you look at it from the beginning of the year also. If you can pull up the YTD chart, it's seen a sharp jump up coming in as well of more than around, I think 80% is what we're seeing on a YTD basis as well. So Ircon International is surely a stock that is buzzing in trade and managing to hold on to strong gains even today.
All right, buzzing in trade managing to hold on to strong gains, Vinay, but do you think these gains will continue for Ircon International? And what's your take coming in, given the fact that the rally in the entire PSU space has been very relentless?
Yeah, definitely. So today, railway PSU stocks have taken the leadership and done very well. Exceptional volume in today's session. The stock like RBNL and Ircon. So Ircon basically, to be specific, was trading in the 50 rupees range on the higher side. 285 to 88 was the higher band, and the lower band was around 250. Now that consolidation which was there for last 6 weeks has been taken out today with a significant jump in volumes. If you were to take the last 1 month average volume, today's volume is more than 5 times that average volume. So quite significant strength in the entire railway space, and Ircon has registered a new all-time high, and there is no anticipated target for this, but yes, the previous resistance was placed at 300 odd level, and now that has been taken out decisively. So 300 can act as the immediate support for the stock, and momentum is quite good, and this can rally, continue to rally. So we should not try to anticipate any top for the counter. It is clearly into the uptrend, and 300 should be the stop loss for the traders, but looking quite convincing on the chart. There could be running correction at regular interval, but the primary trend is quite good. Stock is at all-time high. One should continue to hold on the long positions.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about ZEEL Prepaid. Then this particular counter is seeing a good up move in trade today. Last time I checked, the stock was trading higher, about 4.5% or so. Now it's given up some of those gains. 1.5% uptick coming in for ZEEL. The reason why the stock was actually buzzing in trade today is because they've said that they've entered into an agreement with Hero Motocorp to provide two-wheeler makers as employees with expense management platform. So on back of that, the stock actually saw a good spike, about 4% or so. But right now, the stock is actually given up those gains. And nevertheless, if you see this week alone, the stock has seen an up move of about 6.5% or so.
Surely keeping an eye out on ZEEL, but let's move on and talk about Laurus Labs on the technical front then. And Vinay, when you're looking at it, yes, we've seen the stock buzzing in trade today. Last 5 days, also a good uptick that we've seen. And previously in the 6 months, not much of a run-up that we've seen, but what is the outlook now on Laurus Labs, and where should we see it headed on the technicals?
So basically, this stock has given a breakout on the long-term trend line. So if you were to look at the weekly and monthly charts, and if we draw a trend line adjoining the all-time highs, so this is one of the stock which is trading quite lower from its all-time high. The all-time high was made at 718 in the month of August 2021, and after that stock did not perform, and as compared to the other pharma stocks, it did not participate in the rally. So now it seems that it has broken out from that consolidation, and now the downward sloping trendline breakout can also be seen. The entire sector also supporting very well. The Nifty Healthcare Index, Nifty Pharma Index, both have registered a new all-time high in today's session. So the sector, along with the sector, this stock has broken out from the long-term consolidation. So nice setup on the charts. In fact, we have recommended to our clients around 460 odd levels with a target of 530. So it is good, looking good for the short term as well as on medium term chart. It looks like it's a major reversal, so it should participate well in the coming days. So one of the stock which has actually seen a bullish reversal pattern, and it's quite far from its all-time high. So good potential is there. So one can take a long bet on this, and the stop loss that we recommend is around 430.
All right, let's move on then. Let's talk about RBL Bank then, Gaurav, and how was the Q1 operational performance for this one?
Well, yes, when we talk about RBL Bank's Q1 numbers, we saw a sharp increase in advances. If you look at the advances, that increased almost by 18.3% on a YoY basis. Even when we talk about sequential growth, that was healthy at 3.3%. And specifically to mention that retail advances actually grew almost by 31% on a YoY basis, while wholesale advances grew only by 2%. Within the mix also, retail to wholesale advances mix is now 62 to 38 in a proportion. And the main reason why we saw this downfall coming up with the stock price is that the deposits growth, because that remained muted for the bank. If you talk about YoY growth, that was at 18.4%, but sequentially that declined almost by 2.1%. And the main reason is that the bank has continued to focus on the granular retail deposits, because when we talk about these granular retail deposits, that has increased by 5.4%, but it seems that the market has not taken this news in a positive way, because when we even talk about the stock price, it is down 1.8% as we speak. So definitely watching out on this counter.
Keep an eye out on RBL Bank, but let's move on and talk about GSPL on the technicals and charts. When you're looking at it, Vinay, last 1 year, just a 9% return. At one point of time, it did see a spike up, but after that, again, it corrected. So now, do we expect a run up again coming in for GSPL, and do we expect it to go up, comfortably near that 400 mark?
So it has started recovering from the lower level. So to be specific, on 22nd April, the stock witnessed a huge gap down opening, and the gap was in the range of 374 to 320 odd level. So this is a big negative gap, the downward gap, which was actually on the back of some negative news in the counter. And since then, stock has been underperforming. And in last 3-4 days, we have seen some participation coming back in the stock. And today's stock has hit the resistance of 200 days exponential moving average, which is placed around 312. But still, there are many resistances coming in the way, because the gap which I just discussed is in the range of 322 to 370. So this is a 40-50 rupees big range which can act as a strong resistance. So though it has recovered from the lower, but the overall chart is still not that much good, and one should keep it with a tight stop loss. So I'm not expecting a huge momentum gain in the gains in the stock, because overall it is looming around its long-term resistance of 322 to 370. So let us wait for some more confirmation. Don't take a long position. Wait and watch should be the strategy for this count.
On that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. More stocks on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.